dropping bass like a motherfucking atom bomb.
What is up, slackers? Welcome to Book Cheats. Today we're going to be talking about Animal Farm Chapter 3. Now, at the beginning of this chapter, this is right after the revolution, the animals go to collect hay. Everybody goes and helps, and everybody's working except for the pigs, because they have to lead. It was a little tough for them because all the equipment was designed for humans. Despite this big obstacle, the pigs were able to figure out a way to use all the equipment. The animals harvested the hay 2 days faster than Mr. Jones's men ever did. They continued running the ranch, and later in the year they ran into some problems when they didn't have a machine to thresh the corn. The pigs were able to figure out an ancient method that they could thresh the corn. Out of all the animals, Boxer, hands down, was the hardest worker of anyone. It's said that he worked as hard as 3 horses. Whenever there was a problem on the ranch, Boxer was right there to help everyone. Even though Boxer worked the hardest, almost everybody did their best. Even the little ducklings would grab little kernels, and they'd do as much as they could. They only had a slight problem with Molly, the white horse, who had trouble with waking up early, and she also would leave work early too. The only other animal they had trouble with was the cat, who seemed to avoid work altogether. And Benjamin the donkey didn't seem to really care about the revolution. He just worked the same as he did before. One thing about their new society was they never worked on Sundays. Instead, they would have breakfast 1 hour later, and following breakfast they would have a ceremony. At this ceremony they would raise their flag, which they had made out of a green tablecloth, and painted a hoof and a horn on it. The green represented the green fields of England, the hoof and horn represented the Republic of Animals. After the raising of the flag, they would talk about work and debate issues on the farm. Most of the time it was just Napoleon and Snowball, the 2 pigs leading the revolution, who were debating. It seemed like they could never agree on anything. Snowball was always starting committees to help animals. Some of the committees that he started were the Egg Committee for hens, the Clean Tail Committees for cows, the Water Wool Committee for sheep, and the Wild Re-Education Committee to tame rabbits and rats. Although they tried, they couldn't really tame any of the animals. So obviously, because humans weren't able to tame certain animals, when the pigs tried to tame the rabbits and the rats, this happened. Well, alright, class. To be one of us, you have to learn the rules. Now, hey, stop that shit. Stop that shit. I said stop it. The cat took the re-education class for a few days but got bored. The cat was then seen outside trying to tell ravens that all animals were friends and that they could land on her paw. Snowball would also run a reading and writing class. And by autumn, almost every animal had some measure of literacy. Most of the animals could only remember the letter A. But several animals, including the dogs, the donkey Benjamin, Muriel the goat, and all the pigs, were completely literate. Clover the horse could remember the entire alphabet, and Boxer could remember A, B, C, D. Molly, the other white horse, only wanted to learn her name, and she'd write it in flowers on the ground and look at it. While Snowball was running these committees, Napoleon had a different philosophy. Napoleon thought that teaching the newer generations was more important. The dogs Bluebell and Jessie had 9 pups. As soon as they were old enough, Napoleon took the puppies and told their mothers that he was in charge of their education. He put them on top of the barn, and most of the animals forgot they ever existed. It was really difficult for some of the stupider animals to remember all of the 7 commandments. So the pigs decided to simplify it into what they called a maxim. It was just a phrase that the dumber animals could remember. The new maxim was 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. The birds didn't like this at first because they said they had 2 legs, but the pigs convinced them that their wings were actually considered a leg and that they had 4 legs. The birds were okay with it after the pigs explained it this way. Snowball wrote the new maxim above the 7 commandments, and all the dumber animals were able to memorize it a lot easier. The sheep would be constantly chanting it in the fields. Around this time, the mystery of the milk was solved. It turns out the pigs were actually putting it into their food. The apples became ripe, and it was the general consensus that the apples would be divided among all the animals. The pigs instructed the animals to put all the apples into the harness room, and that the apples were exclusively for the pigs. The animals began to complain. Squealer the pig came out and explained to the animals that apples and milk were essential for the health of pigs, and that pigs had to lead everyone, and if the pigs became of ill health, Mr. Jones would come back on the ranch, and that they would all be slaves again. When Squealer explained it this way, all the animals were okay with it. The last thing the animals wanted was Mr. Jones to come back on the ranch. What it seems like to me, it seems like the pigs think they're better than everyone else because they're more intelligent, and they're starting to try and take power. Anyway, that concludes the chapter. Thank you so much for watching Book Cheats. Please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions from your homework, leave a comment down below. You guys rock, have an awesome day, and slack on. Now, don't get handsy. You gotta respect the personal space. You gotta learn the rules, and you gotta be cool. What the hell are you doing? Well, okay, class. Today we're gonna be talking about how you can be a normal animal. Alright, so to be one of us, you gotta learn the rules.
We dropping bass like a motherfucking atom bomb.